Reading from Bhagavad-Gita as it is. Chapter 8. Text 27. Page number 391. Naite Shriti Partanjanam Yogi Muyati Kashchana Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Vavarjuna Naite Shriti Partanjanam Yogi Mukyati Kashchana Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Varjuna Nate Shriti Parta Janam Yogi Muyati Kashchana Sarveshu Kaleshu Yogam Yuktam. Word for word. Na, never. Ete, these two. Triti, different paths. Artha, a son of Prita. Janam, even if he knows. Yogi, the devotee. The devotee of the Lord. Muyati is bewildered. Kashchana, any. Tasmad, therefore. Sarveshu, Kaleshu, always. Yukta, Yoga Yukta, engaged in Krishna consciousness. Vava, thus become. Arjuna, O Arjuna. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Although the devotee knows these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. Please repeat. Although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. Purport. Krishna is here advising Arjuna they should not be disturbed by the different paths the soul can take when leaving the material world. The devotee of the Lord should not worry when he departs by arrangement or by accident. The devotee should be firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. He should know that certain concern over either of these two paths is troublesome. The best way to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness is to be always dovetailed in his service, and this will make one's path to the spiritual kingdom safe, certain, and direct. The word Yoga Yukta is especially significant in this verse. One who is firm in yoga is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness in all his activities. Sri Rupa Goswami advises, Asaktasya Vishaya Yat Harham Upa Janyujataha. One should be unattached in material affairs and do everything in Krishna consciousness. By this system, which is called Yukta Vairagya, one attains perfection. Therefore, the devotee is not disturbed by these descriptions, because he knows that his passage to the Supreme Abode is guaranteed by devotional service. Om Argyantaram Dasya Janandana Sakaya Sakshumi Jena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Vayam Rupa Gadamayam Danti Swavanantikam Maneham Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Ragana Ragnatam Tajivam Sadvaitam Sarvujam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Vishnavam Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabhanuj Gapade Gopisha Gopikanta Tapchakanchana Gaurangi Vishnabhanu Sute Devi Brahmani Haripi Vanchakalpya Dhuni Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation once again. All those devotees who know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. So the previous verse says that the two paths, that according to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back. When passes in darkness, he returns. Well, this is the concluding verses of this chapter, Attaining the Supreme. These last, in verse 23 to 28, is stressing on the supremacy of devotional service in attaining the Supreme. The word yoga yukta here means engage in Krishna consciousness. And mayati means never bewildered. So there are different paths that one can take while leaving this body, but we don't have to be so concerned with these things. Krishna says in the beginning of this chapter, Ante klecha mameva smaram muktva kalevaram yam yam prayanti samad bhavam yantiya nashtiyatra sanchayaha. Whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering alone, at once obtains my nature, of this no doubt. And he says, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam yante kalevaram tam evaiti kuntaya Sattad Bhava Bhavataha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state will attain without fail. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me, and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. So, it says here that one may leave his body either by arrangement or by accident. Grandfather Bhishma Dev, he is an example of someone who left his body by arrangement. And Bhishma Dev, father, wanted to marry the daughter of a fisherman. But the father of the daughter said no, you can't marry my daughter because your son will become the next king. So Bhishma said, I won't become the king. But then the fisherman said, but then your son will become the king. So Bhishma said, no, I'll never marry. So he was a Kshatriya, and this is a terrible vow. Bhishma means terrible, horrible vow for a Kshatriya, because Kshatriyas are prone to being married to many wives, having many children. But Bhishma made this vow that he'll never marry. So his father was pleased with him and gave him the boon that, or benediction, that he could leave his body whenever he desired. So on the battle of Kurukshetra, somehow grandfather Bhishma was the grandfather of the Pandavas and the Kurus. He was shot with so many arrows, 11th day of the battle, that he was laying on a bed of arrows. But he didn't leave his body. And Krishna came there and asked him, after the battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna came and requested him to speak to Maharaj Yudhisthira, because Maharaj Yudhisthira was lamenting that he was thinking that he was responsible for killing 640 million people and creating havoc in the world. And so many others tried to convince Maharaj Yudhisthira that it wasn't his fault, then he should become the king. But so Bhishma spoke to Maharaj Yudhisthira, and Krishna was there, and the Pandavas were there, many people were there. And before he started speaking, Draupadi was laughing. So they said, why are you laughing? Before that, Krishna came to Bhishma and said, you can speak. But Bhishma said, no, I'm feeling too much pain. How can I speak? So Krishna said, from this day on, you will not feel any pain. So then Draupadi was laughing, because when they went to disrobe me in the assembly, you didn't speak up. And now you're going to talk about religious principles. He said, well, at that time, I was contaminated by impure blood. Now all the blood is running out of my body, so now I can speak. So Bhishma spoke for a very long time, something like 48 days. And then when the sun passed over the northern hemisphere, he understood it was time for him to leave his body. This is what's described here in the 24th verse. That those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the fiery God, in the light and auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during 6 months when the sun travels in the north. So Bhishma Dev knew this, so not only he stopped speaking, he fixed his sight on Krishna, fixed his mind on Krishna, fixed all his senses on Krishna, and left his body. So this is one example of someone who leaves their body by his own arrangement. But sometimes they're always getting car accidents and having quick death, and they don't know. They have no advance warning. But it's not, the devotee is not concerned about whether he's going to leave his body in the light or in the darkness. This is disturbing. This is for the jnanis and the karmis, and the jnana yogis and the karma yogis and the yogis who are not surrendered to Krishna. They're always coming and going. And but here it says the devotee is never bewildered. But in the Krishna book, the story of when Rukmini, Krishna was speaking to Rukmini. Before that, Srila Prabhupada says, everybody in the material world is morose or unhappy except for devotees. That is because they have so many material desires. And it says in Kali Yuga, Manda Sumanda Matayo, that everyone has bad qualities, and of all the bad qualities are always disturbed. So in this way, only the devotees can be peaceful. Krishna says that he, by understanding his appearance and activities, or he says that the devotee can have peace, but the other yogis, karmis can never have peace because they have material desires. So Lord Chaitanya came to teach Yukta Vairagya, and Lord Prabhupada quotes this verse from Nectar Devotion. Nirbandhan Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya Uchate. When one is not attached to anything, at the same time accepts anything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of his relationship with Krishna is not as complete in his renunciation. So Prabhupada would say the yogis, when they're giving, someone wants to give donation to yogis, they go, no. But we go like this. Because Nirbandhan Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya Yutate, that we utilize whatever is given to us for the service of Krishna. Building temples, printing books, distributing prasadam, all these things require money. And so we accept the charity from people for this purpose. So the devotees of the Lord only have to chant Hare Krishna. We don't have to be concerned about these different things. Some devotees are given advance warning that they have cancer, so they can come to Vrindavan and leave their body in Vrindavan. Because anybody leaves their body in Vrindavan goes back to Godhead. But that is if they're not sinful. If someone is committing sinful activities in Vrindavan, when he leaves his body, he has to take an animal body, a hog, a dog, or a monkey. See many monkeys in Vrindavan. So, in a monkey body and an animal body, there's no sin. So they're free from their sins, and then they can go back to Godhead. But Prabhupada didn't like that idea. He said we should not commit offenses in Vrindavan. If you have lusty desires and apt to commit sinful activities in Vrindavan, then you should not stay here for more than 3 days. That's why he made the Life's Membership Program, and anybody can come and stay for free for 3 days if you can get a room in the guest house. If you didn't book in advance. You have to book in advance. But we don't have a swimming pool. We don't have free. We won't pick you up at the airport, but if you don't call us. So, this is what Krishna conscious movement is meant for, surrendering Krishna, utilizing our body, mind, and words in the service of the Lord. So, there's the example of Ramananda Roy, someone who was detached from material affairs. One time, Pradyumna Misra went to Lord Chaitanya and said, I'd like to have you speak to me about some topics about Krishna. Well, Lord Chaitanya said, I don't know anything about Krishna. If you want to hear topics about Krishna, then you should go see Ramananda Roy. So Pradyumna Misra went to Ramananda Roy's house. And the servant said, you just sit and wait when Ramananda Roy is busy now, and when he's free, he will come and meet you. So Ramananda Roy was and always knew his identity as a gopi. So he was taking care of these young girls, teaching them how to dance, how to dress, and so many things. And but his mind was never affected. Sometimes he'd have to touch the girls or dress the girls, but he was not affected in any way because his mind was like wood, or he was always thinking he was performing service to Krishna by assisting the gopis. So Pradyumna Misra, finally Ramananda Roy finished his business, came to see Pradyumna Misra, but it was late that night, so he offered obeisances, and he came back to Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu asked him what Ramananda Roy was doing. So he told him he was teaching these young girls how to dance and perform a drama for Lord Jagannath. And he told him but Lord Chaitanya said that Ramananda Roy, even when I even see the wooden form of a woman, I became agitated. But Ramananda Roy is so advanced that he doesn't, even if he's taking care of young girls, his mind is never affected. So this is the spiritual platform. When Krishna is dancing with the gopis in the dead of night, it's not a material affair. And these things we cannot understand with our blunt material senses. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Indriyani. Seva Mukha. No. Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Uchite. Two different verses. One verse says, Krishna cannot be understood with these blunt material senses, and that we should use all our senses in the service of Krishna. So, when Lord Chaitanya appeared 500 years ago, he chalked out the path for pure devotional service. And although Lord Chaitanya was Nimai Pandit, in his childhood, he was a scholarly person, he only wrote 8 verses. And when he met Rupa Goswami at Prayag, he instructed him for 10 days and told him to write books on the science of Krishna consciousness. And when he met Sanatana Goswami and Vinaras for 2 months, he instructed Sanatana Goswami and told him also to write many books about Krishna consciousness. So he empowered these 2 souls, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, to write many books about devotional service. So Lord Chaitanya himself only wrote 8 stanzas, Shishtataka prayers, which says, Shaito Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadvagni Navapanam Shaya Kaivat Kanuja Vitaranam Vihu Jivanam Ananda Bodhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Puram Jisvarte Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Glory is to Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleansed the heart of all the dust accumulated for years together, and thus extinguished the blazing fire of conditioned life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon, is life of transcendental knowledge, increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, enables us to taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Nam nama karibardha nivachar shaktis tachat pita nivamita smarnena kalaha chadrishi tava kripa babang mamapi dodaivam idrisham ehajani naragaha. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of transcendental names, such as Krishna and Govinda, in which you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are no hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy name, but I am so unfortunate I have no attraction for them. So this is the, first he gives the process. He gives the what is to be done in this age, chanting the holy name. Now he teaches the process. Shanadipi Sunichena, Torapi Sisana, Amaya Mandana, Kirtanya Salari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street, more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So this is called danya, or humility. Without this humility, without being humble, one cannot chant the holy name constantly. It means you have to be freed from false ego, or thinking I, me, mine. You have to be completely detached from the material conception of life. If the pure devotee, Uttamarakari, he sees everyone as serving Krishna, but except for himself. And one time, Prabhupada was in the airport, waiting to board the flight to go somewhere, and all the devotees came with him, and they sat in the waiting room. Well, you can't do that now because it's too much security, but in the old days, everyone could go in the airport and go anywhere they want. So the passengers for the airplane, they couldn't get on the airplane. They couldn't get in the room because there's too many devotees there. So they said to tell the devotees they have to leave the room. And so they made an announcement that all the devotees have to go outside. So Prabhupada got up and started walking outside. So this is a sign of his humility. Although he was the only one who was supposed to be there. All the other people weren't supposed to be there. So in many ways, when Prabhupada was in Australia, they made these Vyasa signs which looked like something from outer space, or from Indraloka. And when Prabhupada sat on those seats, the people became envious. So from that time on, Prabhupada would never sit on a Vyasa sign in public. Even when he was speaking to one reporter in Chicago, the reporter asked him why he wasn't sitting on his seat. And he said, because if I sit on this seat, you'll be envious of me. So Prabhupada was always humble and meek and understood, took the humble position of being a great devotee of the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya said, Nandanana Sundarim Kavichavajaga Ishvare Mamba Jamani Ishvare Bhagavad-Bhakti ISKCON. Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. Only want your causes to fulfill birth after birth. So this is the state of anarthana vritti, or giving up desire for all unwanted things. So when one no longer wants to accumulate wealth, no longer wants a beautiful wife, no longer wants many followers, then he can understand he's free from anarthas. You know, the 6 Goswamis, Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, they had acquired boatload of gold and silver. But when they met Lord Chaitanya and spread to Lord Chaitanya, they divided their wealth. They gave 50% to the Brahmins and devotees. They kept 25%. They gave 25% to the family, and they kept 25% for emergency, because Rupa and Sanatan were in government service, and when they retired early from government service, they knew they were going to have some trouble. And when Sanatana Goswami was in prison, he had to have money to bribe the jailkeeper to get him out of prison. But otherwise, they became completely detached. They came to Vrindavan. They lived under a different tree every night. And they only ate dried chickpeas and some dry bread, fried chickpeas and some dry bread. And even Raghunath Das Goswami, after some time, he only take 1 cup of chach every other day. So they became fully renounced from one extreme to the other, from being aristocratic, very rich and wealthy, having everything, to being mendicants or Babajis and living very simple life, only accepting the bare necessities. So this is important that we try to give all up our anarthas. And then the constitutional position of the living entity is, O son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna, I'm your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I've fallen in this horrible ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me one of the atoms at your lotus feet. So this is our Sambandhan Gyan, establishing our relationship with Krishna. Then Lord Chaitanya said, O my Lord, when my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name, when will my voice choke up, when my hairs on my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? So when one chants, if he can give up the anarthas and chant with feeling, then the ecstatic symptoms will be there. The Lord Chaitanya is praying that somehow he can chant with tears in his eyes. Gaura Govinda Maharaj said, we're opening a crying school. And if you can't cry for Krishna, then we should cry because we can't cry for Krishna. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, there's so many instances when the devotees are in ecstatic love, are always crying when they meet the Lord, when there so much ecstatic symptoms are there, especially in Chaitanya Bhagavat. And so the final result of chanting is, O Govinda, feeling your separation, I consider a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain. I'm feeling all vacant in the world, in your absence. This is the way the gopis were feeling. They were feeling like one moment to be like 12 years. For us, time is passing very fast, so 12 years seems like one moment, instead of one moment being like 12 years. So this is ecstatic sympathy. And finally, the last verse is the perfection. That's Sambandhan, Abhideya, and Parojana. The complete perfection is, I know no one but Krishna is my Lord. He shall remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He's completely free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. So this is the mood of Radharani. She says that if he embraces me or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. So we know Krishna left Vrindavan at an early age. He was nearly 11 years old. But that was the Vasudeva Krishna, expansion of Krishna. But the real Krishna, Nandanana Krishna, never leaves Vrindavan. But he was not manifest. And he had to leave Vrindavan because demons were constantly attacking. And as long as he was there, the people were always being bothered by demons. So he decided not to leave Vrindavan and not to return till he killed all the demons. So although he was always sending messages and promising he would return, he actually did return after he killed the last demon, which was Dandavakra. And then after 100 years, he did return to Vrindavan. So this is the feelings, the emotions of that we should try to come to this higher level of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says here, by practicing Krishna consciousness, one is safe and certain and direct that we don't have to think about going back to Godhead or how or when we'll go back to Godhead. But we have to be serious and sincere. Devotional service, it says in Nectar Devotions there, that devotional service is rarely achieved. Krishna easily gives liberation. He gives liberation to the demons he killed. Even Putana was a demon, and her business was to kill babies and drink their blood. So she came to Krishna disguised as a beautiful lady. So no one checked her for entering the maternity room to see baby Krishna. This was when Krishna was only 3 months old. He could barely open his eyes. So she smeared poison on her breast and was determined, wanted to kill Krishna. She was sent by Kamsa. Kamsa had many demon friends who he sent to Vrindavan to kill Krishna. But none of them were successful. So the first one was Putana. So she entered the room looking like a beautiful woman. Everyone thought she was the goddess of fortune. But Krishna sucked her breast, but at the same time, he sucked out her life force and killed her. And then she ran out of the room, went into the forest, and assumed her original form, which was 12 miles long. So Krishna made sure she didn't die in the room, because she would have broken all the houses in the village, because she had a gigantic body, which means her body was from here to Mathura, if you go on the Mathura road. But after that, because Krishna killed her, he gave her liberation. She attained a position in Golok Vrindavan. So whoever Krishna kills, they get liberation. They get out of the material world. But that's not, Putana's devotional service was not favorable. And Kamsa, Krishna also killed Kamsa. He got Sayuja Mukti, or Swarup Mukti. And many demons were killed by Krishna. They got liberation. They went to the Brahma Yoti. But they were not favorable. So it's not the same if Krishna kills a demon and they get liberation, but they don't get pure devotional service, which is rarely achieved. So, pure devotional service means amnya bilasita sunyam jnanakarma avitam anunkulena krishnasno bhakti uttamam. This is pure devotional service, free from gyan, free from karma. And once you have no other interest but the service of the Lord. So Krishna says, Sarva Dharma Parikshaja, Mamekam Saranamaja, Ham Tvam Sarvabhaneyo, Mokshashaya Masushaha. So he wants everyone to surrender unto him. And full surrender. But Lord Chaitanya came, Namo Mahavanandaya, Krishna Prem Vadayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya, No Guru Tasena. That Lord Chaitanya is the most munificent incarnation, because when Krishna came, he demanded surrender. But Lord Chaitanya is the only incarnation that comes to give freely what no other incarnation can, and that's Prema Bhakti. So if we follow the path chalked out by the Goswamis, if we follow the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, we at the time of initiation, we agree to chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regulated principles: no meeting, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. And there's also 64 angas or items given nectar devotion that we should also follow. And of those 64 items, associating with devotees, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, worshiping the deities, chanting Hare Krishna, and living in a place like Mathura Vrindavan or a temple, this is the 5 most important items. So the way, just by putting on tilak, putting on a dhoti, and looking like a devotee, it doesn't mean that someone's a devotee. Prabhupada said some people do that. He called them Kali Chelas. 2 men were coming to the temple regularly every day with tilak and bead bag. And then after 6 months, one man got initiated and the other man went away. So the man who got initiated, and he stopped wearing tilak and he threw away his bead bag. So he was making a show that he had some devotion. But that show about devotional service will not help one advance in Krishna consciousness. So not only we have to be a devotee, but we have to do everything with great care and attention. We have to chant attentively, avoiding the 10 offenses. And the first offense is to blasphemy devotees. One time they called Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was a very detached person. He was tested by, one time he was sitting in the village chanting Hare Krishna. And Haridas Thakur would chant 300,000 names every day. That's 192 rounds. So one of the landlords, his name was Ramachandra Khan, was envious of Haridas Thakur. And it's the nature in the material world. People are envious of devotees because we don't do the same thing they do. And we're just chanting, dancing in the street, and having a good time, where they're working very hard and miserable. So Haridas Thakur, so Ramachandra Khan sent one prostitute to make Haridas Thakur fall down. So this is because he was envious of Haridas Thakur. But Haridas Thakur was completely absorbed in chanting the holy name. And so when the prostitute came, he said to her that I will fulfill your desires. Just sit here and wait, but I have to first finish my rounds. I made a vow to chant 10 million names every month. So when my rounds are finished, then I can fulfill your desires. So she came one night, and he chanted all night, and she listened. Then she got up in the morning, went away. Then the next night she came, and the same thing happened. Nothing happened. Haridas Thakur chanted all night, and she simply heard the chanting and went away. Then the third night, the prostitute came and told Haridas Thakur that I've been sent by Ramachandra Khan to make you break your vow, to make you fall down. But I see that you're always chanting, and therefore I want you to become my guru and instruct me so that I can also become a devotee and give up my sinful activity as a prostitute. So Haridas Thakur replied, yes, I know, this Ramachandra Khan, he's just a foolish man. And I knew I would have left this place 3 days before, but I stayed here just for your benefit. So now you go home, distribute all your wealth to the Brahmins and the devotees, and only keep one cloth. Come to this hut, this cottage I'm living in, worship Tulsi and chant the holy name, and this will make your life perfect. So she did that, and she started chanting 300,000 names every day. She ate very frugally. She didn't eat very much. Whatever people brought her, she ate. If no one brought anything, she would fast, and she only kept one cloth to wear. So by this yukta vairagya, by renunciation, she became a pure devotee of the Lord. So in this way, one can be unattached by material affairs by this process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But Ramachandra Khan, because he committed an offense, Vaishnava Aparadha, the first of the 10 offenses is to avoid blasphemy of devotees. Because Ramachandra Khan committed a blasphemy to Haridas Thakur, offended Haridas Thakur, the Muslims came to his village, arrested him, and for 3 days they plundered that village, and they killed a cow on the Durga Mandap, and they cooked that cow, or ate that cow for 3 days. So for one man's activities, the whole village had to suffer. So if you commit sinful activity, if you commit Vaishnava Aparadha, not only do you suffer, but your family members also suffer. But if you become a pure devotee, then you will go back to Godhead, and you also take your family members with you back to Godhead. Like Prahlad Maharaj, he says he took 21 generations, past and future, back to Godhead when he became pure devotee. So the devotee, we should follow the not commit these 10 offenses. We should try to avoid committing the offenses to the holy name, and try to chant purely, and not to be idle. The pure devotee, he does not like to waste 1 minute of his time. He's always seeing how I can utilize my time in Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada was an example of that. His life was fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. He'd sleep for 2 hours in the afternoon, and he'd sleep for 2 hours a night. He'd only sleep for 4 hours. He'd traveled around the world 14 times in 12 years. He translated so many books. He translated Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. He did so many things. He was always engaged in Krishna's service. He didn't allow himself to become idle. One time Prabhupada was going to take rest in the afternoon. He said, now I'm going to waste my time. So this is the way the devotee feels, that every moment of his life should be utilized for Krishna consciousness. So this is easy, because we live in Vrindavan, and it's much more easy to perform devotional service in Vrindavan, because this is the land of Krishna. And so the devotee is never bewildered by these paths, whatever they are. He simply wants to develop his love for Krishna. And Prabhupada says in the next purport that when one relishes the study of Bhagavad-Gita and attains the state of feeling always Krishna conscious, in the advanced stage, one falls completely in love with Krishna. This highest perfectional stage of life enables the devotee to be transferred to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Golok Vrindavan, where the devotee becomes eternally happy. So this is the goal, to attain love for Krishna. Prema Pumartha Mohan. We shouldn't aspire for anything else, have no other interest except for the interests of the Lord. We have to have no other interest but to attain love for Krishna. And Raghunath Das Goswami wanted to surrender to Lord Chaitanya, kept running away from home, and his father kept bringing him back. So finally they told him that you stay in your home and act like an ordinary man, pound, shilling, pence man. But at the same time, you should, within your mind, always think of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So he did that, and eventually he got an opportunity to leave home and join Lord Chaitanya and perform so many wonderful activities after renouncing all attachments to his family. So even though one may have so many attachments, family life, we have certain responsibilities. At the same time, we have to have a sadhana. Vaisheshika wrote a book, Family Business. You can read chapter 13, 14. It discusses the importance of having a good sadhana. As much as possible, we should attend all the morning programs, try to chant 16 rounds in the morning before we become too busy in the daytime. Because a lot of people have to go to work or have so many activities in the daytime. And they asked Prabhupada what would please him the most. He said at one time that if you chant 16 rounds all at one time, that would please him. So if you're able to, you should take rest early. Should not stay up late. Take rest early, get up early, chant your rounds, as many rounds as possible before Mangalarti, after Mangalarti, so you can finish 16 rounds every day without fail. But if you're in Vrindavan and you have time, you can chant more. 16 rounds is the minimum, not the maximum. You can chant as many rounds as you like. Some devotees can chant 1 lakh or 2 lakhs. The Lord Chaitanya said to his followers that I will not accept prasadam at anyone's house unless you give me 1 lakh. So the devotees said, we're poor people. We don't have that much money. But Lord Chaitanya said, no, I don't mean money. I mean 1 lakh of japa, 100,000 names. They said, oh, that we can do. So this is required that we follow the 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, beginning with hearing and chanting. And chanting is the most important activity in this age. Harinam, 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 Evikabalo, Kaluna Steva, Nasteva, Nasteva, Gatiranyata. That the chanting the holy name, that there's no other way, no other way. In Kali Yuga, which is when a mind is always disturbed and there's always so much Maya and in the material world, but only by this chanting process can one attain perfection. So time is over, we can stop there. If anybody has any questions, we can answer them. The question man didn't come tonight. He always asks the same question, right? Whether you leave your body by accident or by arrangement. So we don't know when we're going to leave our body. But if we have advance notice, then we should all means try to come to Mayapur or Vrindavan and leave our body in the holy dham, which will make it easy for us to go back to Godhead. For the purport, one purport, Prabhupada says, for a devotee leaves his body and a materialist leaves his body, it's two different things. When a materialist leaves his body, he leaves his body in great pain and anxiety and fear. But when a devotee leaves his body, he's very peaceful. Because for the devotee, the Yamadutas don't come. But for the sinful people, the Yamadutas come, and they're very fearful-looking personalities, and they take this soul to Yamaraj. So Yamaraj told his Yamadutas that after Ajamil had chanted the holy name and was freed from all his sins, that you should never go near those people who are chanting the holy name of the Lord with tilak and neck beads and kuntimal and these things. These people you shouldn't bring to me. Only bring the sinful people to me. So when a devotee leaves his body, he's peaceful. But when a materialistic person leaves his body, he is in anxiety and fearful. So it's different. It's not the same thing. And doctors will testify to this. And devotees have seen people leave their body, will testify to this also. The devotee can leave his body very peacefully with a smile on his face. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mantra Bhagavad-Gita ki jai.